application would you suggest for others to actually create that shift in their thinking to get through difficult times?
Thoughts are creative and inventive. They can also be preventive. They're quite powerful. What you think about, you bring about. Scripture talks about the renewing or the redoing, literally the renovation of the mind, which is the seat of your reflective conscience. You have to open the mind for evolution and help control the thoughts or contain the thoughts. You have to be careful what images you allow to rest in your mind, because images are like magnets. They literally draw you to them. If you imagine yourself defeated, if you imagine yourself the victim and let victim consciousness overwhelm you, that's what you become. You become what you think about. You become what you fear. As Job said, the thing I feared most has come upon me. So stay away from terror or phobias or fear and replace fear with faith. Fear is faith in reverse. Fear of a storm is faith in its power to destroy you. Fear of a serpent is faith in its power to harm you. So be careful how you take the energy of fear and how you add faith to it and create what you experience. You are in control of what happens to you and how you respond to it.
I'm no longer trying to escape from the curses I was born to break. Finding a way to overcome my fears. I am strong enough. There might be some bumpy roads ahead, but I'm equipped. I've learned some great lessons. The power lies in me. Now I see so clearly. All my steps are destined. I'm going in the right direction. Gotta keep believing in myself. Gotta keep going, don't give up. Yes, I'm gonna see this through. Yeah, I put my trust in you. The only way out is to go within. Now I see you're my best friend. Yes, I finally found my peace. I know that I can trust in me. It's a blessing that I've come this far. 'Cause when you feel alone, I know it can get hard. But I'm choosing gratitude, grace, love, and peace. You're always with me. All my steps are destined. I'm going in the right direction. Yeah. Gotta keep believing in myself. Gotta keep going, don't give up. Yes, I'm gonna see this through. Yeah, I put my trust in you. The only way out is to go within. Now I see you're my best friend. Yes, I finally found my peace. I know that I can trust in me. I am connected to a love that never runs out. I am connected to a source that never runs out. I am connected to a love that never runs out. I am connected to a source that never runs out. I am connected to a love that never runs out. I am connected to a source that never runs out. I am connected to a love that never runs out. I am connected. I gotta keep believing in myself. Gotta keep going, don't give up.
Good evening, good evening.
Hey,
We are live.
my Instagram went to call the police. Dial 911.
Okay.
I don't know what that is.
Woo! It's Magic's song. It's so powerful. Makes you want to call the police. This is so powerful. You are live, sir.
Hey. I'm live. I'm alive. And I'm live. Trying to keep this technology together. Isn't it strange? Brief observation that, and many people are experiencing it. Things like what just happened to my phone, my cell phone, which is where the Instagram program is being picked up, just called 911. It's kind of blinking off and on, doing something weird now. I don't get it. Is Instagram blinking on for you, Malachi?
I'm double checking now.
The phone's just blinking off and on. It goes black and then it comes back to me.
Yeah, let's you may have to reset your
Is it doing that on Instagram?
yes, it is.
I'm sorry, Instagram people. I'm gonna have to cut you off and come back. Okay, just stay right there. Don't you move. Don't go nowhere. Don't even go to the bathroom. Stay right there. Wait. In now. No, I don't want to share it. How do I turn that off?
We'll go ahead and show. Brad D says good evening. Mr. Mark on YouTube, praise Jesus, Holy Spirit. Welcome.
How can I move this thing? Untitled is trying to make me end it.
Yeah, just go ahead and end it.
Well, I have, but it's trying to get me the accounts reached 117
Yeah,
peak.
if you can just close that out and cancel it.
But I don't know how to go back to the page. Or discard video. That's what I'll do.
Just start over. Mr. Smiley.
Hey, there's me and what are these pictures doing on here? That was last night.
Hey, Marie. Miss Marie, you always here. Good to see you.
All right, I'm sorry. I'm trying, y'all. Let's see if not. There it is.
And Grace, you are Miss Grace Jones is always here.
Okay.
There we go. Miss Williamson.
Now it says I'm live, but it's all black.
Thank you, Sly. We're checking it out.
We're telling your followers that you started a live video. I don't know what this thing
is. We're checking it now. I don't have it just yet.
Instagram, there's a little something, but it looks real dark. Sorry, Facebook, it's strange that technology is playing games with our minds. And
yeah, your Instagram is being a little weird. Do you
Instagram, I'm gonna cut the phone off and come back on and try it again. I don't know what's the issue with this phone.
That is his daughter Majesty. She's releasing a record, which is that is one of her single songs that is really, really amazing.
They can download it if they want.
Yes. I needed to get that address from her. Thank you. Lena Hill. Yes, he is currently working on that.
On Instagram?
Yes, Sly.
This phone is really a mess.
It's, I guess it's all part of the process.
Sorry, Facebook folks. I have to
They,
go through.
they're, I think they're enjoying the YouTube. I think they're enjoying you do that.
If you're waiting for me to cuss, you ain't got much longer to wait because this is starting to bother me. I don't even cuss, but I took some cussing classes, and I did pretty good too. I didn't know nothing but holiness, you see. All right, let's see how this.
Bree, blessings and peace and blessings. Yes, YouTube.
When I go to my Instagram, I see me talking to Ricky Smiley and those guys.
Yeah, it's just playing something automatic. So if you could just go like you're going to do a post.
Let's see. Instagram. Turn that off. Sorry, folks. I'll be with you in a minute. I don't know what it's doing. See, I go there and I try to flip it.
Yeah, you're getting it's just probably the first screen that you see, and what you need to do is at the very bottom. See if you can click your face at the very bottom right corner.
Oh,
and then you're going to go to the top and hit the plus button, and then that's the easiest way to navigate that, and you'll see live.
Go to the top and hit the first. Real? No. Story? What are live?
Live.
All right. See, that's y'all live. All right. This is
right.
Live.
Listen, she said, breathe. You breathe for us.
All right. Come on back on Instagram.
I think they are enjoying it. Yes, that song is they really did an amazing job with that song. Oh, you hitting the button. Here, take that out. Take it out. It's pushing the button on the right side. It's an emergency button. I need to cut that off for you.
Phone, because they called me last time.
Yeah, well, it's a button that if you hold down the power button,
I keep doing something wrong on my phone, man.
You when you clipping it in there, it's holding down the power button.
Oh, jeez, it's gone again. What is this? Now I'm back to Instagram. I guess I'm on live. Yeah, sorry, you Instagram folks. I'm sort of semi-retired and quite a bit retarded. I mean, slowed down. I just can't keep up with stuff like I used to. I've been doing this for 15 years. I never have any problems, but it just has a little bit of an attitude. But here's something that I want to add to anything else I say tonight. There is some kind of
you're good on Instagram too. Can you tilt that down just a hair, because right now they just get in the top of your hair.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Can you see me all right, folks?
Yep. Who says tilt your camera down, OG?
Tilt it down or like it is?
No, you're good. You're just fine. That's perfect.
All right. Again, I don't know if any of you can relate to this, but there's been little technical glitches in everything. Anything from not being able to get into Bank of America last week. I couldn't go online and get into my Chase bank account. In fact, I'm encouraging any of you to keep some cash on hand. I don't know. Something is happening. There could be a collapse. There could be a power outage. There's these, what do you call these? Rolling
blackout.
Blackouts. Something's up because the culture is it's almost like a third world country. America's gotten sloppy and sluggish. The airlines aren't acting right. The mail's not coming through. People are stealing stuff off the porches. The phone acts crazy. The laptops, the Wi-Fi goes nuts, and there's no explanation for a lot of these things. It's like a conspiracy to crowd the culture with little nuisances that make people drink more, use substance abuse, overeat, oversleep, lose their momentum, losing money, afraid, paranoid. I'm telling you in advance because that's probably going to increase. Some of it will be accidental. A lot of it will be deliberately scammed to put us into some form of a deeper form of psychosis, being out of touch with external realities. That's something we got to watch for in these coming days and times and years as the universe corrects itself. But there's a lot of forces at work, a lot of crazy stuff going on, and I'll keep you informed as much as I know. And I'm telling you to anticipate the worst, but prepare, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst, or for it to get worse, because it's going to get worse. Ultimately, it will get better, but something creepy is going on. It's in the Bible calls it spiritual wickedness in high places. I call it hidden places. Spiritual wickedness in hidden high places, where somebody's manipulating the brain control, the anxiety, the ire, the distrust, the paranoia of a whole nation and maybe a whole species of people. Because artificial intelligence, robots, all this kind of stuff, if the power goes out, we can't even open the garages in our cars. What we do without our phones and our computers and our electronics and our iPads and all these other things we got. So much stuff. I don't even know how to use all of it, but I'm glad I have it, and I'm glad I have you. So that's kind of what I'm going to be talking about tonight anyway, but that's a little bit more extreme than I wanted to go. But let me get to my little talk, because it's important that we have this conversation tonight. And it's
Bear with us. He cut himself off. Please hold.
How'd that happen? I was trying to go to my notes. Am I there?
You are live, sir. No, it's okay. You just clicked off. You got us back on. So
What's my Instagram? I lost that.
and they're on Instagram's fine. That was just Facebook, YouTube. All you got to do now is go to your notes.
I'm about to hit somebody. All right, let me start.
It's keeping you young. It's keeping you young.
They ain't keeping me. Okay, I'm gonna go to my notes now. I hope I don't lose you. If I do, wait a minute.
No, you shouldn't.
StreamYard here. No, I'm on StreamYard. I want to go here. Am I still on? I saw the light go out.
You're
So
good. No, you're good.
well, the light didn't go out this time, but I could sit on my laptop that it actually did go out before. That's weird. These things really do have a mind of their own, and they do what they want to do when they want to do it, and they know when they're. It's like a horse can sense that you're afraid of it and will buck you. The first time I rode a horse, that happened repeatedly. A dog can sense, almost a demon can sense that you are intimidated, and they manifest differently when fear energizes them. So, and that's what I want you to do as we come into this next realm, and it gets, and I'm usually accurate. You all know when I tell you something, it's pretty accurate. It's going to get really roller coaster-ish, up and down and high and low and wide and narrow and zooming and turning and twisting. And every time you think you've got one thing, another thing will hit. They're going to keep having these mass shootings from now on because we have all this gun power and bullet powder out there. It's, you got trigger hyper and trigger happy, not just police officers, but people. They have the weapons. They want to fight. They want civil disobedience and a civil war. They're not very many civil wars. Most of them are uncivil. That's what war is. It's the most bizarre and barbaric things that humans do, and we've done it since we've been humans. We're territorial and we fight. So anyway, I want to talk about how to survive the next year and beyond. This year, 2021 and 3 and beyond, by simply being aware, being awake, being alert but not alarmed. Be armed but not alarmed. If you're alarmed with the arm, you're going to shoot it and fight it. Be armed in your spirit, be armed in your mind, be armed in your emotions, be armed in your devotions. Have an inner armory on so that you can, as the scripture says, be strong in the Lord that you might stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. We're nearly done with the first month of 2023. Seems like this year is moving very, very fast, faster than normal, at least to me. We're already to the 21-day fast went really quickly. However, it will seem slow comparatively as things really speed up the next month and continue to speed along for the rest of 2023. This is going to be a fast-paced, hard to keep up with, many moving parts year. Why do I keep telling you that? Because it's like commercials. You have to watch the same commercial. Some of you have seen the same commercial 1,000 times and you still don't know what it's about. You've seen it. You can actually mouth the words if it's words, lyrics, or a song. You know the melody, but you don't even know what the commercial is about. That's why they run them repetitiously, because for us to focus in and really find out what the thing is talking about, you have to run it hundreds, thousands of times. So we'll have to say a lot of the same things for you to get it. I've spent this first month, as many of you have as well, focusing on my inside work, my inside walk. Prayer, meditation, worship, even yoga, along with ongoing contemplative thought. I'm intentionally being less externally active and more internally reflective. I am active, I'm busy, I'm traveling, but I'm doing a lot of downloading, a lot of dreaming. I'm dreaming. They say we dream every night, but you don't always remember it. But I'm remembering the dreams. Sometimes they're in color. I write them down. They don't all make sense. Now my wife's calling. She doesn't know that I'm on this live thing. That's hers. I'm sorry. Let me text her and tell her I'm on live. I don't know why she's calling. People forget I'm on live. Sorry, folks. I do this every Tuesday night, and my own family forgets it. Ain't nobody paying me no attention. Y'all got to pay attention. Anyway, I'm intentionally being less externally active and more internally reflective. We should all go or get away as often as possible and remain somewhat separated as much as possible this entire year. Just kind of find a space in your consciousness. And if you can, physically in your house, apartment, maybe go sit in the car, but get away. Call yourself away, as Jesus is recorded to have gotten away from the crowds and gone to the mountains or to the forest or sit by a pond, or if you live on the coastlines by the ocean. Avoid gossip, wasting energy on superficial things that don't matter as much. Really be contemplative, or contemplative, the way you pronounce it. Reserve and preserve yourself and your soul more than normal in anticipation of and preparation for huge shifts and changes in the third dimensional world reality. Sight, sound, touching. 3D or three-dimensional refers to the three spatial dimensions of width, height, and depth. Okay. This is a three-dimensional world that we live in. We're in touch with it. The physical world and everything that is observed in it are three-dimensional. We're going to have to transcend that this year, because the three-dimensional world is going to break up right in front of us. We are by nature 3D creatures living in a 3D world, but our physical eyes can show us only 2 dimensions. The third one we don't always notice. The depth that we all think we can see is merely a trick. It's a kind of illusion that our brains have rehearsed and learned. And we're actually making up some of this stuff, projecting realities that we imagine or that we're familiar with, that become route to us and repetition to us. This is all a byproduct of evolution, putting our eyes on the front of our faces. When in our esoteric reality, our vision is panoramic. We can see before, behind, the sides, around, but with the eyes being the 2 eyes being in the front of our head, the clairvoyance is clear vision, and we all have it, but we tend to ignore it. This time next year, America and the world will not look or feel like it does right now. Mark my word. 12 months from now, the world, beginning right here in America, would not look, sound, or feel like it does right now. Major and magnanimous changes. In fact, that change is occurring even now as I'm talking to you. The change is happening. It's happening to you and in you and about you and around you. Don't ignore it. Don't be ignorant. Now, you don't have to react to what's happening, but you do have to respond intellectually and spiritually and emotionally. That's energy in motion. Be prepared for major systemic breakdowns with the collapsing and crumbling of the old order. The systems are going to break down. I talked about technology. There could be wide blackouts. There could be rolling blackouts. There could be people shooting out the power stations and plants, shutting whole cities down, throwing us into oblivion. A few firecrackers at airports. 1 or 2 crazy things to happen. They'll shut the whole airlines down. Anything could go wrong. Anything could happen, and anything will happen. In fact, everything might happen. And a lot of it's going to happen all at once. Then the news reports it, and you have all these copycatters out there. That's why they're going to keep shooting, because particularly the Republicans have armed the country and won't make gun laws, because the gun companies own these politicians and pad their pockets. I think legitimately and illegitimately, because money makes people go crazy. So we're dealing with greed and self-centeredness and self-aggrandizement, ego, ill-advised passions. People are into themselves. They don't care anymore. Again, there will be lots of disclosure of long-held, deep, dark secrets of both the universe herself and all those who have presumed to control it for the last several decades. That's coming down. A lot of these secret societies are breaking up at their roots. They've rotted on the inside. They've deviated from their original purposes, and they've become corrupt and powerful and manipulative and psychotic. The rich and powerful will appear profoundly vulnerable in this next year. You're going to hear some stories in ways they've not felt or been in the past. It's going to be shocking to them. No stone is going to be left unturned. Are you hearing me, folks? Prepare your inward being, because The old is being demolished. It's crumbling. It's cracking right in front of us. In psychology, the third dimension definition includes the three components of dysfunction, distress, and deviation. You're going to see some of that in the three-dimension realities. Distress, dysfunction, deviance. You're going to say, I can't believe that happened. I can't believe he said that. I can't believe they did that. I can't believe they've been doing that. Oh my God, how long has this been going on? For centuries. For millennia in some cases. This is a 3D reality. It's occurring presently across the country and the planet. People are losing trust in most of the previously regarded and respected institutions and the systems created by them. When I say systemic trauma, electronically that's going to happen, theologically, socially, economically, even in media, politics, governmentals. All these things are going to have strange occurrences, and it will look like the Speaker of the House is just the seeker and doesn't know what's going on. It'll seem like the president doesn't know what's going on. It'll seem like, I hope my daughter's going in the garage as I told her to. It's going to seem like faith has failed. Your faith will be tested because you're going to see the kind of destruction and damage and collateral damage that's going to stun you and say, God, why didn't you protect us from this or protect them from that? What's going on, God? And it's like the scripture portrays Jesus as saying, God, my God, why have you forsaken me? Even if it's possible, take this cup from me. And heaven was silent. And Jesus had to go through with the crucifixion. If it be possible, take this cup from me. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? Now, it will appear that we're forsaken. We haven't been, we won't, and we can't be unless we forsake each other. And we'll get close to that. It's going to be every man for himself. So if you have any extra cash, I would take some and put it in, I'd get a safe if I were you. Keep some in your house or in your car or in some safe deposit. Don't keep it all in the bank. The banking system is going through some major shifts right now. The stock markets, none of that's going to be reliable. And again, it's not the judgment of God. It's the universe correcting itself. It's just going to seem crazy. This is going to include, I said, cultural, societal, governmental, political, religious, economic, and even the media. The media is going to be confused. The deceit, the disillusionment, corruption, vileness, and vice that's resident in our cultural icons and iconoclasms is all going to be revealed. You're going to see through the holes, and you're going to see that the apple is rotted from the inside, and that the grapes are rotting, and the fruit that's hanging lowest is too sweet. This is part of the shift, okay? Ride it out, folks. Be prayerful, be contemplative, pensive somewhat, meditate, think, go within so you don't have to go without. I've been saying that all along. I will continue to. Again, a three-dimensional universe is made up of three dimensions: width, breadth, and height. Okay? Naturally. It's easy for us three-dimensional ants or plants to visualize this universe. We're just like a bunch of little ants because we live inside it. We almost live as it. The universe doesn't really exist the way it is existing without us. So we're all part of it. I presume that we all know more than we're willing to admit or acknowledge. We know more than we're willing to admit. We know more than we're willing to acknowledge, because to acknowledge it means you must respond to it. And most of us want to act like it's not happening. That's called ignorance. You ignore the obvious. I don't like how the doom and gloom. Well, I've never been one of those kind of preachers, but even though I knew there's always going to be doom and gloom on the planet and in people's lives, but this is global. This is collective doom and gloom, but it's only temporary. When you're going through a demolition or a renovation, as I remember, our house was for at least 6 months when we moved from the country back into town. I was 10 years old. I just turned 11, actually. my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, Big Mama, had died in January of '64. I turned 11 in March of the same year. We moved from Otay in the country where we lived 7 years to town. And our family was older. So my mom and dad wanted to put 2 bedrooms and another bath to make that little house bigger. So we'd have 4 bedrooms and 2 baths. And I remember everything was disheveled. Tables where they don't belong, and bread and peanut butter, and how we could cook. And because they redid the whole kitchen. So the kitchen, the refrigerator, everything was kind of discombobulated. And I came home every day. Even when I'd come home for lunch, I remember where the peanut butter, because I make my own peanut butter sandwich. And sometimes I bring 1 or 2 friends home from school who were hungry, and I make them eat what I ate. But it was the only reason we could handle the confusion. And there was dust and clutter. The only reason we could survive that is we all knew that we were the house was being renovated. They were adding on to it. They were changing things. They were tearing down walls and replacing them and ripping up carpets and adding things and linoleums. And back in those days, that's the kind of materials we used. So you're going to see a lot of renovation, redoing. You're going to see a lot of demolition. There's no evolution without dissolution. So things are going to dissolve. Things are going to look really crazy. I'm telling you, in every sector of our society, you're going to see these amazing shifts take place. We sense, we see, and we say, at least to ourselves, what the universe is hinting and holding out there for us. We know it in our spirit. You know something's up. You're holding on to it. Whether we admit it or not, we are all one with the universe and inextricably connected to it. So all of the universe or creation is groaning, as scripture suggests, waiting for the revolution and evolution of those who are enlightened, who can help be light in this dark terminal that we're going through, this dark intersection where you can't see that red is no, green is go, and yellow is slow. Sometimes there are no traffic signals, and you just have to feel it out. What if you are in the country and there are not a lot of road signs? Sometimes a stop sign is not visible because a tree has overgrown it, or nobody's attending to these kinds of things. You're going to find out this whole idea with these classical documents being found in the president's home, other than Donald Trump, who actually knew what he was doing, took them intentionally, held them intentionally. Vice President Pence, President Biden, neither of them knew they had classified information. But the department that handles classified information should be indicted as well. They have failed. They should be tracking these important classical documents. How can they let something be gone for 14 years when Biden was a senator and nobody got alarmed? They're not paying attention to what they're doing. These are staff issues. Somebody needs to be fired, because for Pence to have what he has, Biden to have what he has, Trump took what he took and they got curious. I don't know how they got curious about missing some things. They weren't curious about Biden or Pence, and you might find it in other people's offices, presidents, and some senators who have classified information, because, as my pastor used to say, everybody's news is nobody's news. Everybody knows it. So there's a carelessness, there's a slothfulness, there's a sluggishness in the American way, in the government. We don't give attention to detail. We're letting too many things fall through. There shouldn't be veterans committing suicide every day because they can't get medical treatment. They don't have living. A good percentage of the people who are living on the street are veterans, former veterans, that are suffering from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and at varying levels of insanity. They can't live with their spouses. They can't live with their families. They're ashamed. They're angry. They don't want to be around them, and they want to be around them. They're dying on the street. Some of them have death wishes. They hope they get sick and die. So all of this is confusing to a lot of people. Some of the most sober, sane, decent people of integrity I know have thought about leaving this country, leaving this life, leaving this world. People are willing to die or kill. Some people are either suicidal or homicidal, and they can't find an in between. The whole nation needs therapy. We actually know far more than we believe, because beliefs are based on external and usually three-dimensional realities. You're going to have to distinguish between what your soul and your cells know and what your mind thinks, or even what your emotions feel. They all work together. I've often said, and we are a feeling people, particularly Africans, but all humans are, and African Americans, and religious Pentecostal. We like a feeling God, a feeling church, a feeling song. I was with Leandra Johnson last night for her 40th birthday. Nobody can touch me singing more than she does. She's had some drinking problems. She's confessed it openly. But that girl can sing under more heavy anointing drunk than many people can sober. And I'm not encouraging her to be drunk. We've been talking to her personally, privately, repeatedly. And she's been dry for quite a while. Every once in a while, she misses it. Alcoholism is a disease, like obesity is a disease. You can talk about fat people or drunk people, but none of them are that on purpose. They are driven by something or afraid of something. They are addictions, or they take dictation from a voice or a sound that insists that they overeat or overdrink or overuse or abuse drugs or abuse their lovers. Some children abuse their parents intentionally. It's passive aggressiveness. All that's out there. You work with or work for, or somebody works for you who's passive aggressive. They know what ticks you off, and they just pick at you. There's some children who are so angry at their parents, they break rules and get their parents in trouble. They get in trouble and have to go to jail. The dad has to go out and pull them out, or the mother has to go down. It's embarrassing. Or go down to the school and talk to the principal, or talk to the counselor, talk to the school teacher. Wives they're fighting. There's so much anger in the earth today, and I'm only identifying it because you're saying what's going on. We've been doing the wrong things the right way, or the right things the wrong way for so long till it's grated against the very essence of our species and of our spirit, and we're demanding change. The times and seasons where the 3D world is being crushed and crumbling before our eyes is upon us now, and will force and is forcing us to look more to higher and or other dimensional realities, because lower ones will be far too extreme, too extravagant, too external to resonate with our awakened souls. We won't be able to tolerate the things we have in the past. Our spirit won't let us. Remember, I've often said that a snake sheds its skin not because the skin is bad, but the snake or serpent has outgrown it. We have outgrown America. We've outgrown the planet the way we've known it. We've outgrown societal structures, cultural structures. Some of the human consciousness, we've outgrown it. It doesn't fit. We're going to start shedding things, not just physical weight, but mental weight, emotional weight, even spiritual weight, psychological weight. We're going to start self-medicating with self-meditation. I'm not talking about drugs. Sleep aids is one of the most lucrative businesses on the planet. Medications. The Greek word is sorcery for religion. Sorcerers, medications, certain aspects of religion considered sorcery, because we use things, whether it's a joint or go to a beer joint, or a joint to just drink away your pain, or to get drunk to deaden your senses so you don't know that you're hurting that much. Some men have to go to a bar before they even go home. Women do. They'll go directly from work to a bar. I've never been able to, that's not the kind of life I wasn't even exposed to it regularly. We had bars around us in the ghettos of San Diego. I had relatives that were in those bars. A lot of my uncles, I was always afraid of bars. So they were dark. I didn't know what was going on. My little prudish, holiness background. But we would come by and go to the bar, push the door open and say, "Are y'all going to hell?" and then run. I did that a couple of times. And a man came out, chased us. It was my Uncle Earl. And I knew I was going to get a whipping because he was going to tell my mom, and he did. But he laughed at the same time. He thought it was a joke. I was scared. We were scared what was in there. I've come from a long background of naivety and prudishness, and we were sheltered. My whole family, all 6 of us kids were. And my parents were to a certain extent. They're tough. They know what they're doing. But anyway, pertaining to the ability of sensing and seeing, this is important. I want you to catch it. Clearsightedness. It's called clairvoyance. And it refers to the paranormal or extranormal, extraterrestrial ability to see persons and events that are distant in time or in space. It means clear vision. You do actually have a clearer vision than you are willing to recognize. All the specifics are actually evident, but you have to pay attention to them because they do create tension, which demands attention and leads to intention. Don't hide your heads in the sand. Okay? It can be divided into roughly three classes, this three-dimensional reality. Precognition, which is the ability to perceive or predict future events. Retrocognition, which is the ability to see past or beyond events in remote viewing. And present perception. That's of contemporary events, things that's happening right now outside the range of normal sensual perception. You sense it, and it's happening right now, but it's not futuristic, and it's not just behind you, it's happening right now, all around. I'm right there. I'm seeing stuff happen right now. I hear it in my spirit. I spend hours reading and studying and praying and meditating and thinking. I'm downloading constantly. I keep my laptop near me so that I can write stuff. I never give you all that I write because I write stuff as it comes. And I'm thinking, before I had my publishing deal with Simon & Schuster, I didn't write everything. I had a little notes in my Bible, a little 3x5 cards I used to use back in the day. But when I signed that contract for 3 books, I started writing everything because I was getting ready for the next book. I didn't know what they're all going to be about, and just collect everything. And I still do, even though I don't have a contract with them any longer. That contract ran out. But those books didn't sell that much. I mean, it was the gospel of inclusion. And the other one's titled God is Not a Christian. You can get them online, but they didn't, because there were new ideas and new thoughts. I think I could republish them and they'd go through the ceiling right now because everybody's talking inclusion. Anyway, I remind you that perception is the ultimate reality, but not necessarily the ultimate truth. How many times have I said that? Truth, like beauty, is in the eye of the beholder. We often see things not as they are, but as we are. You project your presupposed notions, things that are learned responses. Some of them are lewd responses or overused responses. What we see is colored and edited by preconceived notions and presuppositions. So your first view is probably not always as clear. Learn to observe and study a thing, even a perception, an idea or ideology, a thought process, a sermon. Don't just go by feelings. Feelings are important, but the universe doesn't judge us so much by what we feel as by what we think about what we feel. Some of you have heard me say that. And what we think about what we think about what we feel. And then what we think about that. If you say, I'm cold. Oh, really? What do you think about that? I need to put more clothes on, or I need to turn the heat up. I feel lonely. Oh, really? Well, let's talk about that. What do you think about being lonely? Well, I just feel like nobody wants to be around. You feel that? So what do you think about that feeling that no one? Are you feeling abandonment? What does that mean to you? Is there anything in you or about you that you think would make somebody want to abandon you? Go to the source. Think it through. Reconsider. The difference between mind and brain is muscular. One, the brain is a physical muscle and the mind is a spiritual muscle. I shared this Sunday at Spirit and Truth in Atlanta. The brain represents physical power, strength, and sustenance. The mind is the element in you that enables you to be aware of the world around you and your experiences and expressions in it. Very powerful. The mind enables you to think, to feel, to emote. It is the seat of your reflective conscience. It is the intuitive faculty of consciousness and thought and awareness that goes beyond the 5 senses. Thinking does. The 5 senses: sight, hearing, tasting, smelling, and touching. Then the 6th sense is the extrasensory perception, the pineal gland or the third eye. it's vision. And then the seventh sense is the sense of humor. I told Ricky Smiley last night about the seventh sense. He was hosting, emceeing Leandra's birthday party. I did communion for she and her parents at the top of the evening, but I didn't know, I had never met Ricky Smiley. Thank you, sweetheart. But I laugh at his stuff. I just adore him. He's humorous. He plays my music, he says, every day on his program. I've never actually heard him live on the program, but people send me these little funny clips that he does that are so hilarious. The guy's a genius. Very pleasant man, very beautiful spirit. Loved being able to spend a little time with him last night. But I talked about his ministry of the seventh sense of humor. He triggers in us, laughter doeth good, to use King James Version, laughter doeth good like a medicine. A merry heart is as good as therapy. That's what that's saying. So the intuitive mind, Einstein is quoted to have said, the intuitive mind is a sacred gift and the rational mind is a faithful servant. I love that. I add that they work and walk together, rationality and sensitivity. Practical living. Intuition and rationality both transcend the rigors and rituals of religion in a way that makes religion appear almost totally superficial when you're both intuitive and rational. We all came here knowing before we ever started or needed to believe. We came here knowing. And once we got here, you've heard me say between the womb and the tomb, we forgot what we knew and started believing what we were told. That's where we got messed up. People telling us stuff. Everything is consciousness. In the end, whatever or whenever that is there will still be consciousness because that is our infinite self, our infinite soul, infinite. That means without finish. It's actually unfinishable. You just keep going like time and air and space. Conscience means awareness. It means knowing or knowledge. It's the most powerful energy there is. The power of knowing. It is an inner feeling. It's an inner voice. It's an inner view or perception that functions as a guard. It functions as a guide to the rightness or wrongness of our behavior or the accuracy or inaccuracy of one's perceptions in life, of how we perceive things. Conscience, basically, as you've heard me say, with knowledge. Conciencia, I like to quote the Spanish word. A simple definition of science is knowing or knowledge, both forms of enigmatic energy. Knowing and knowledge. Science teaches us that energy can neither be created or destroyed. Rather, it can only be transformed or transferred. Perhaps at least slightly transmuted or changed. But you can't kill it. You can't burn it. You can't drown it. You can't shoot it. It doesn't die of disease. Energy is a form of divine presence on the planet and in the universe. Life is energy, and it takes energy to even die. It takes movement. Death, as we know it, is an extravagant, opulent, arrogant, and obstinate illusion. Jesus called it a form of sleep. We think it's just the cessation of life. It's really the continuation of life in another realm, under another reign, another domain, on another floor in my Father's house, where there are many mansions and or dimensions, Jesus said. The real issue with most humans is, will the grave seal our fate forever? We're survivalists by nature and we're afraid of the grave. Or is there a resurrection and another sphere of existence awaiting our souls after we finish the bodily earthly encounter? Of course, many of us of faith believe that we must live, we must die, and that we must live until we die, and then we get to live again. Yes, there is a resurrection and another sphere of existence awaiting our souls. Some of that will be expressed and experienced this year, a next dimension of ourselves, as our species is upgraded to its original spirituality, on or less contaminated and or polluted by the external stimulants or stimuli. We're coming to another experience of the self. The stimulant, the stimuli of religion and fear-based theologies won't work anymore. You don't really need to fear God as some of those people who say they believe in God. They're the ones that do the murdering and the killing and the horrible things, thinking they heard from God. There are people taking guns right now, and in the next several weeks and months, you'll hear of people saying God told them to do the mass shootings, or God told them to take a judge out, or a senator out, or a congressman out, or a mayor, or a preacher, or somebody at a mall, laity, that God told them to do that. Religion has screwed up so many people's thinking. I call it stinking thinking. Transcendence is to go beyond, think beyond, or think other than. It's to rise above, it's to cut across, it's to surpass, excel, exceed. This is all transcendence. To beat, to trump, to top, to cap, to undo, to outstrip, to outrank, to outshine, to live behind, leave something behind and move forward, to eclipse, to overstep, to overshadow, to throw some things into the shade, or to put it into the wings, or to upstage it. We can upstage this calamity. We can upstage the transition. We can live above it. We can live through it and above it at the same time. We can transcend it. We are bigger than all of this, but part of all of this as well. So I say, Happy New Year and Happier New You. That's what I'm saying. It may be a year of love, a year of justice, a year of connection, of laughter, of delight, of wonder, of righteous action, of evolution, of expansion, of a year of spontaneity, of hope, of persistence, a year of beauty, a year of caring, a year of wisdom, a year of curiosity, of presence, of truth, and unmitigated joy. May we all be destined for good. My friend Tony Moore sent this to me. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. I find a lot of inspiration out of the scripture, even though I don't take it literally all the time, but there's some parts that you should, even though the scripture says the letter or literal kills. Spirit gives life. So you have to see metaphorically, metaphysically what scripture means for it to make the sense to the soul. But I love it. I study it. I read it. I just don't worship it. That's why people get upset with me. I don't worship the word, the literal word. I don't even worship Jesus. I love Jesus and I follow Jesus' teachings, but you're not supposed to worship anybody but God. That's the way God would say it, right? All right, time's up. I went over a little bit longer than I want to, but I think you got it. I said a lot, so please listen to this. Like and share, like and share. Malachi, I hope we're putting that up all night because I forget to do it when I was on Larry Reed's the other night. He's always saying that he knew the number of people that were out there. There were 2,000-3,000. He said I won, and he knew how many had liked or shared. And so let's close with the song. And imagine now that you're here. How do you download? The people are asking how do they download the music?
Trust in Me.
Yeah,
is unreleased. I'm sorry, it's unreleased.
It's unreleased.
It's not out yet. Only you guys hear it. Yeah, you guys.
Yes, it's unreleased. That's what I was saying. It's unreleased. It's a single. It's going to be released, but you get to hear it. They love it.
Thank you. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Awesome.
She says it's going to be out this year. Well, we're a month into the year already. The song's ready.
Yeah.
She's got more. When is it expected to release?
This summer, hopefully.
Yeah.
Why so long, baby?
Yeah. Well, there is one that is out. It's all like on my Instagram. It's called Chosen, so you can listen to that one in the meantime. It's there's a link in my bio to it.
They're all good, but this one, I've been playing it the last couple weeks, and they just love it.
Yeah, Brian did a good job.
Yeah, Brian Jones, a Kojic preacher's son. I've known him all his life. Isn't it something? All right, let's let me go back to you in StreamYard, Malachi, because we're pretty much done. Let's close with that music.
You started it. You can cut that off.
There might be some bumpy roads ahead, but I'm equipped. I've learned some great lessons. The power lies in me. Now I see so so clearly. All my steps are destined. I'm going in the right direction. Gotta keep believing in myself. Gotta keep going, don't give up. Yes, I'm gonna see this through. Yeah, I put my trust in you. The only way out is to go within. Now I see you're my best friend. Yes, I finally found my peace. I know that I can trust in me.
You have 2 sessions logged in.
It's a blessing that I've come this far.
It's a nice thing.
When you feel low, I know it can get hard, but I'm choosing gratitude, grace, love, and peace. You're always with me. All my steps are destined. I'm going in the right direction. Yeah. Gotta keep believing in myself. Gotta keep going, don't give up. Yes, I'm gonna see this through. Yeah, I put my trust in you. The only way out is to go within. Now I see you're my best friend. Yes, I finally found my peace. I know that I can trust in me. I am connected to a love that never runs out. I am connected to a source that never runs out. I am connected to a love that never runs out. I am connected to a source that never runs out. I am connected to a love that never runs out. I am connected to a source that never runs out. I am connected to a love that never runs out. I am connected. I gotta keep believing in myself. Gotta keep going, don't give up. Yes, I'm gonna see this through. Yeah, I put my trust in you. The only way out is to go within. Now I see you're my best friend. Yes, I finally found my peace. I know that I can trust in me. Believing in myself. Gotta keep going, don't give up. Yes, I'm gonna see this through. Yeah, I put my trust in you. The only way out is to go within. Now I see you're my best friend. Yes, I finally found my peace. I know that I can trust in me.
This we is that me?
Gonna be mute on this side. I don't know
You have 2 sessions going at the same time.
Oh, I see. Wait, let me
what.
turn
You
one
have
up.
your camera on? Oh, sorry, guys.
There we go.
I didn't realize. I apologize.
Sorry. Next Tuesday, I'm going to start a series called Fully Awake 365. It's 365 days that will challenge your mind, channel your power, and change your life. It's written by one of my number one spiritual son for radical inclusion, D.E. Paul. That's his sister, LaDonna. I've known these people since the late 70s. And they're one of the churches, my primary churches under my Episcopal watch apostolically. I'm there quite often. I was there last Sunday. This is some of the most practical writing that I've ever read, and it's one for every single day of the year. Even if you start February, you could some of you may want to just, because they're really one page per day. There's an affirmation, then there's a brief exhortation, all on the same page, and it closes with a prayer. Like, Master, I surrender my matrix, mind, mouth, and manifestation to you. That's the ending prayer. That's the kind of things it has. It'll have like an affirmation up at the top. I can barely read it. Life and death.
Life and death are in the power of how I see and say. My matrix processes it. My mind presents it. My mouth proclaims it. My manifestation produces it. Today, I will be aware of the matrix, mind, mouth, manifestation connection.
So we can keep this going all year long till February 1st. It'll be February 30th, I think, that I'm on next Tuesday. And we're going to start this book. DE was supposed to send me the information of how to download it, but I'll get it on the site between now and then. You can download chapter by chapter. We're going to go over it, but I want you to read one of them every day, not just once a week. It's one page. It starts would be the first day of January, which I started my fast, my Daniel's fast, the first day of January. The table of contents has setting goals and making resolutions. You start on New Year's Day. The power of letting go, the second day. Dare to lose, control, wow. Flying above the turbulence, stuck in the middle with you. Happiness beyond the death of a loved one. So many people are losing loved ones now. Attitude, aptitude, altitude. That's the seventh day. God gives you nothing to keep. Eighth day. And it's just full of, this guy is a genius. He's a Glasgow Pentecostal, just like I am. I started preaching the gospel of inclusion. He listened carefully. He's only a young man in his 40s, married with children, and his kids are finishing college. That's how, and they've done a great. Brandy leads the praise and worship at the church. She's anointed, a beautiful voice. And it's that church that Madge first sang publicly. She was only 10, and she sang the Beyonce song. Listen. And Esther, their daughter, who's just coming out of med school, burst into tears when she heard Majesty sing that on the platform in a 7,000-seat auditorium back in those days. So these are very close friends of mine. Clarice is the mother of pageantry in the church. They do everything from Bach to rock in that church. We've been saying that now for 30, 40 years, and that's what they're known for. But she brought the pageantry and the banners and all that kind of stuff before any Pentecostal. It's the first and only cathedral built by Pentecostals on the North American continent. Now, Dewey Smith, I think his name is the pastor of it in Atlanta, but that beautiful cathedral, Bishop Polk built it. And really, Clarice designed it internally. So, the interior decor. Anyway, we're going to start on this book, and you can go to D.E. Polk or the Spirit and Truth site and start downloading it now, or get your own copy. And I'll put that information up to you. I've texted him a couple of times, but Brandy and Esther are in New York. Had to take him to the airport, so he was busy. But anyway, this book is going to be great. Let's keep the consecration going on. Some of you may want to get back into another form of soak. I loved it. It was just magnificent. Everything that we had to offer in that program, I thought, was very ministerial. All right, announcements over. I know you got to go. All of you, love you. Thank you. Mateo, good to see you. And Marie and Delicate Rose and Fonzo. How you doing, Fonzo? Be Free. I love that name. Marie Simmons. Pastor Don, the new thing God is doing. It's always good to see you every week, precious. Paula Johnson. You wonderful people. I can't read all those names. Mm-hmm. What are they?
Jason White, Devon Lee, Karen Laidley, Caleb Johnson.
That's on Instagram.
David, Red Baller, Kate.
Look at you, precious people. Thank you.
Blessings.
Thanks for tuning in. We love you so much. It's just Dana, Sly, Nicole. I'm looking at some of your names. It's just so good. Fonzo, stay strong and keep them prayers going up. Okay, Fonzo. The Fonz. We will. Don't forget to go to New Dimensions 2 and send a love gift this week. Everybody do something. 5, 10, 20, 25, 50. They come in sporadically during the week. Some of you saw me on Larry Reed's show yesterday and started sending money to me, and I appreciate that, to New Dimensions. couple of my accounts have been hacked. My PayPal, so don't send anything to PayPal right now. Don't use that right now because it's been hacked. Somebody actually stole, and PayPal is very sluggish. The response was somebody took like $5,000 out of that account. I didn't even know it was in there because it hadn't been reported to us. Somebody got on, used a credit card, a phone number, changed the passcodes and all that kind of stuff. A lot of these things are not government regulated. And so even Cash App, you got to be careful with Cash App because that has been hacked as well. So again, these are the kinds of things that make people very distrustful. You don't know what to trust institutionally. You don't know what to trust when it comes to artificial intelligence. You don't know what to trust when it comes to technology. So we have to rebuild trust in the ethereal while we look, not at the things which are seen, but the things the scripture says which are not seen. Things which are seen are temporary. Things which are not seen are eternal. All right, peace and blessing to every one of you. Thank you for your time, your attention, for your consciousness. We're going to let you go. God bless you. Keep in touch. Let me hear from you tonight, okay?